Hello and welcome to Breezy Chatter. Today I'm going to be talking about Ready to Love, DC Edition, and this is episode 7. So it looks like it is Ladies' Choice this time, and Uncle Tommy meets with the ladies in the ladies' lounge, and they are past the halfway mark. So now it's time for the women to introduce the men to their closest friends. So all of the women seem excited because they feel like their friends are going to get down to the heart of things. They're going to be able to ask the right questions of the guys that they're interested in and find out if these guys are really for them. So we start with Zadia and her friends. I think she has two friends there. And they meet with Naeem. Naeem brings her flowers. He gets points there. I like the seating because it seemed very intimate, and he was getting to know her friends, and they seem to really like him. They feel like he's a great guy. He said he's looking for a woman who's kind, who's intelligent, and who is fit. And he's made it pretty clear that he is interested in Zadia. So things are going well for the two of them, and the friends were quite impressed. And then we have Sabrina, who brought 5 friends. Sabrina had 2 men meet her 5 friends. And Walter was up first. And Walter was impressed with her friends. He thought that they were classy and articulate and very well put together, which is the same way he feels about Sabrina. So he was quite impressed. They asked him all kinds of questions about his credentials, where he went to school, what does he do for a living. And Walter just has this charisma about him where he is quite charming. Walter knows how to make his way around the room. Very much a social butterfly, and he scored really well with her friends. They really liked him. They sort of had on their resting faces, if you know what I mean. So they weren't very friendly, but Walter managed to win them over. So good for Walter. I knew he would be able to do it anyway. He has that wonderful personality. And then Sean came, and he thought they were going to play cards. My man had his cards in his inside pocket. He said he's going to meet the friends. He had the best of intentions. He didn't realize that he was walking into a lion's den, because before Sean got there, Sabrina told her friends that Sean said something to her when they went on their first date, along the lines of he's really feeling her, but he doesn't want to hurt her feelings 3 months down the line. And when I heard that, I'm like, wait a second. I don't think that's how that conversation went, especially if what we saw was the conversation. I mean, we know a lot of things happen behind the scenes. Maybe they talked a little bit further and we missed something. But it was my impression that the conversation was about kids. Sean wants kids. Sabrina does not want any more children. So I thought, if I'm not mistaken, he said he didn't want to waste anyone's time. He's done doing that. So he's not sure about her because of the kids, because he knows that he wants to be a father. I didn't get the impression that he was saying, I'm feeling you and I'm going to hurt your feelings down the line. I think he kind of said that's not what he's going to do because he knows what he wants. And just because he happens to meet a woman that he's connecting with, if this woman is not on the same page as he is, he's not going to continue to pursue. That's what I got from that conversation the week before. She was not accurate, actually. Sabrina gave her friends an inaccurate version of what he said. So when he walked in, they're already giving him the side eye and wondering what does he mean by, he's really feeling her, but he doesn't want to hurt her down the line. Like, what are your intentions for my friend? And he's in there and he's smiling, and they're asking him, can he pay the bills? Will he be able to financially support Sabrina? And he said he could pay a bill or two. I don't know if he was being serious or if he wasn't being serious. They just looked at him like, no. We're not high-fiving with you. We're not in agreement with you because we think that you're just trying to hurt our friend. Because Sabrina did not tell them the truth. One of the friends did say, or did ask, what he meant by saying that, he's feeling her and that he wants to be upfront and honest, but then he doesn't want to hurt her down the line. And the friend was sort of saying, well, if you're being upfront and honest from the beginning, that should never happen. He tried the best that he could to explain himself, but he didn't explain himself well on top of it. So that just added insult to injury, because first Sabrina did not give them the whole conversation. And then he wasn't able to defend himself. But I think that's because all those eyes were on him and they were not friendly eyes, okay? And the bill or two thing, the women were already like, forget him. He's talking about he could pay a bill or two. He's saying that he can't take care of you. And now he's talking about he might hurt you 3 months down the line. They were just over him. And I think he was over them also. And Sabrina, towards the end of the meeting, she tried to sort of, I don't know if she was really defending him or just trying to smooth things over, because the tension in that room was so thick you could really cut it with a knife. Actually, no, you needed a saw to cut that tension down. But it was really, really sad to see. I really felt bad for Sean, because I felt like Sabrina sort of threw him under the bus. And I just wish he could have been real and said, she's not for me because I want children and she doesn't. And that's what I was trying to tell her, that I don't want to waste her time because I know what I want. So on one hand, yes, Sabrina is wrong. And then on the other hand, I just wish Sean could have defended himself better. I really felt bad for him, because my man walked in there with the best of intentions and he had no idea what was waiting for him. And he did sort of say he felt like he had walked into a firing squad. But you know what? Sabrina loaded the bullets. So if he wants to thank anyone for that firing squad, he should start with Sabrina, because she did not represent him well. And then at the end, when he left, she had the nerve to say, oh, no, I can't help somebody who's digging a hole deeper for themselves. No, you dug that hole for him, okay? You dug the hole for him. And then you pushed him in. So I kind of felt for Sean. So that was a toughie. That was tough to watch. And then we have Camille and her friends. I think she had about 3 or 4 friends there. And did we learn a lot about Camille. Camille is nothing like what we saw. I don't know if you guys remember when Camille was on the double date and Courtney was there and Walter was there. And of course, Cornelius was there, because what date would she go on if Cornelius is not around? And she was giving Walter and Courtney the side eye, trying to say that they're kind of loose or kind of freakish, because they were talking about all of this premarital activities. And come to find out, she's no different than they are. Her friends were like, oh, you don't like the nice guys. You walk all over them. And I could see it. That's why she likes Cornelius so much, because she can twist him and mold him any way she wants. She can just manipulate him. And Cornelius arrived and he met the friends. And one of the friends did say that she is sort of like a runaway bride. She's been engaged a couple of times, but she's never quite made it to the altar. Cornelius saw that as a red flag, but he needs to wake up. Cornelius is sleeping. He is really sleeping on his opportunities, his real opportunities, because Camille is fake, okay? She is faking the funk. She is not being real. She's telling her friends that she's tired of running from man to man. She wants to try the nice guy when she knows good and well he is not her type. And the things that he stands for, she doesn't stand for. And she's sitting there pretending. And it's going to come out in the wash, but, you're wasting people's time. She ought to be ashamed of herself, but I bet she's not. So I'm just waiting for Cornelius to actually see Camille for who she truly is. She should have went home last week. So now we're going to move on to Sydney. She had her 2 friends there, and she's really interested in Frank. Frank went there, and he sort of wowed them. He answered all their questions. But one of the friends said, oh, I don't know about him. He was giving the PC answers. He was just too PC. And they just felt like he was just trying to say all the right things. And, it just didn't seem organic to them. It just seemed like he's just used to running his mouth. But you know what? Sydney said, I'm the same way. I like him, and there's nothing you guys can say. You can talk all you want about him, but Frank is for me. So I thought that was cute. She took up for him. So then we had Mumin. She brought one close friend to meet Dante and Walter. So Dante got there first. Of course, he's always leading with the fact that he has three kids by three different babies' moms. That must be so tiresome to always have to mention, his situation with the kids and the kids' moms. But he's always leading with that, and he's always telling the women or whomever is listening that there's no drama. And Dante and Mumin seemed to get along well. And then Walter came on the scene. And Walter seemed a little uncomfortable because I don't think he was expecting to see another guy there. So I think he was a little bothered by that. So he's like, "Oh, I got competition. I see what we're doing here." And Mumin said something that didn't really, to me, it didn't make sense because she was saying Walter seemed uncomfortable and Dante was so open and he was holding my hand under the table. Walter couldn't even sit next to you. Okay, you had your best friend on one side and then you had Dante on the other side. He was over there somewhere. So how could he offer you any type of comfort? So I didn't think that was fair to talk about how Dante held her hand under the table. How was he going to hold your hand? How was he going to do anything? He was late to the party. So I don't know. I didn't think, why are you making that kind of comparison? But when Dante finally left, Walter turned on and he's quite the charmer. So Walter was talking to Mumin's friend, and Mumin's friend said, "Are you ready to be committed to Mumin?" And Walter cracked me up. He said, "I'm ready to find out if I can be committed to Mumin." He said, "The other dude just left." I had to crack up when I saw that. I said, Walter just calls it how it is. How you going to ask me about a commitment? Homeboy just left in my face. And I'm sitting here now it's my turn, Woo-wee. I'm really excited, to have a turn. But it was just really funny. And her friend told her, you got two solid guys here. So good luck with the choosing, because I think she was kind of impressed by both of them. And then we had Aisha with Phil. And then we had Shiloh with Phil. And then we had Tasia with Phil. Everybody loves Phil. Phil was making the rounds. He met Aisha's three friends. They seemed very tough, but he handled them very well, He had his jokes. He answered every question. He seemed really genuine and sincere. Aisha's friends said they really liked the closeness and how he was touching her and comforting her. The takeaway is that Phil loves children, so I'm sure he wants to have quite a few. Tasia said she wants 3. He said he wants 2. I'm sure they'll negotiate if they wind up together. What I did like about Phil is that he did not allow anyone to back him into a corner and say who was his number one. I find that in this show, especially from last season, all these women, they love the opportunity to let other women know, oh, he said I was his number one. And it seemed to be something that guys said, and then it seemed kind of fake when another woman says, oh, well, he told me the same thing. It's kind of like Corey this season asking all the women out. And then last season, I think there were a couple of guys who were telling different women that they were their number one. And women with their competitive cattiness at the women's meeting saying, oh, so-and-so said I was his number one. So, I just think it's so juvenile. Why do you have to tell all the other women that that's what he said to you? And then men, stop playing around and telling all these women they're your number one. There can only be one number one. And that's why Phil said she's up there. She's up there. But he did not let them back him into a corner and to actually claim her as his number one. Because the minute Phil called one of those women his number one, they were going to take that back to the ladies' lounge to let all the ladies know and put them on notice. If you had a thing for Phil, you might as well forget it because I'm his number one. Nope, Phil said, no, she's up there. And that's as far as I'm going with that. So, of course, the ladies meet up with Uncle Tommy. What did Sabrina say at the ladies' lounge? Walter said that I'm his number one connection. And they show Mumin trying to see if she was reacting in any way to what Sabrina was saying. Poor Sean. Most of the women said they haven't heard a word from him, no phone calls, no nothing. Tasia said they went on one date and she's been waiting. She hasn't had a call since. And of course, Sabrina told Uncle Tommy how Sean said he could only pay a bill or two. And, all the other women were making faces. And, Sean is just like down at the bottom. And then also Cornelius, because Cornelius is sort of in the same boat as Camille. He has not made any connections with anyone. So the bottom two were Sean and Cornelius. And Tasia met with Sean, and Zadia met with Cornelius. And Cornelius did say something that was surprising to me. He told Zadia that it was between her and Camille, as far as he's concerned. He's not really interested in anyone else. And he told Zadia that she's beautiful, and she said thank you. She was flattered. And Cornelius did kind of fess up that he was afraid to make other connections because he didn't want it to get back to Camille. I think that's such a sad statement. You came here of your own accord. You met one woman that is saying, you're the one for me. But there are other women to get to know. And the sad part about it is Camille is not the one for him. She's trying him on for size. He's not even her type. She's just, she's settling. She told her friends she's tired of running around chasing after all these men. Oh, Cornelius. Oh, jeez. And I kept saying, Camille needs to date other men. Cornelius should have been getting to know almost every woman he could. At least, having phone calls and trying to make a romantic connection and not, this homeboy connection. Because I think most of the girls just look at him as, a friend. So Cornelius was at the bottom. And so was Sean. So Tasia did say, I was waiting for you to call me, because they had a nice first date. And he said, he felt sort of worn down by the whole process. He was trying to keep up and he really couldn't. And he said after this last event or incident with Sabrina and her friends, he was sort of just done with. And Tasia wished him the best. And she did tell him that, the women feel that he is not ready to love. And he said, thank you. Hallelujah. Because he's ready to get out of there. And he left. And I wish Sean all of the best. And, let that be a note to anybody. If you're with someone and they want things that you don't want, move on quickly. Don't waste your time. Don't get to know them and like them even more. Because remember, you have a goal in life. There's something that you want, and this person does not want it. That means they're not for you. And Sabrina, you need to not throw people under the bus. That was really in poor taste. I really felt bad for Sean. But Sean, good luck out there. And that's my commentary. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and leave comments. Thank you for your time. Until next time, ta-ta.